There's a question that's often asked in exams and assessments. And this question is designed to test what you know about advertising and promotion. And in the question, what they do very often is give you some kind of print advertisement. It could be a still from a TV commercial or some kind of online internet banner. And the question that's often asked is something like, describe this advertisement. Now, the amount of detail you give in answering this question will really depend on a couple of things. One will be whether the exam is in speaking or in writing. And the other thing will be the amount of time that you're given in order to answer this question. So what I would like to do in this video is take you through a model answer to this question. I've got an answer that is 7 paragraphs long, and I would like you to take you through each paragraph and analyse the kind of information that is there and look at the vocabulary that is in the answer. So this is the first paragraph. This print advertisement is a promotion for a new line of sustainable and eco-friendly household products. The target audience appears to be environmentally conscious consumers between the ages of 25 to 35 who prioritise sustainability in their purchasing decisions. So this is the first paragraph, and in the first paragraph we're identifying the kind of promotion, the kind of products that are being advertised, and the target audience. So depending on the time that you've got for the question, you can give quite a lot of information about promotions. You could go on to talk about other kinds of advertising, so not just print advertising, but putting this message across TV and online and so on, and on billboards, and show that you know this kind of vocabulary. You can also show that promotions, it's part of the marketing mix, and the 4 Ps or the 7 Ps of the marketing mix. And you can also discuss that promotion is not just advertising, that it includes other things like in-store promotions and PR and so on. The target audience are the people that you want to sell the product to. Then we've got the vocabulary here. We've got sustainable, sustainability, talking about marketing. We've got the vocabulary, a purchasing decision. When you go online or you go into a shop or a supermarket, this is the time, this is when you look at the shelf and you make a certain decision to buy a certain product. And this can be influenced by advertising and promotion. In the second paragraph, I've dealt with the visual aspects of the advertisement. And in talking about the visual aspects then, so we've got here the dominant colours, green and brown, convey a connection to nature, the earth and eco-friendliness. So you can talk about the colours of the advertisement, and if you know about colours in marketing, you can say what these colours are often used for in marketing. And again, depending on time, you could expand on this part of the answer. You could talk about other colours that are used in advertising. So for example, talking about the colour red can often be used to symbolise energy and boldness, and the colour blue can be used for security, or it conveys a message of security and trust. So this is talking about the colours, and then we move on to the layout, so the visual layout of the organisation. And here I've written the layout is clean and well organised with a central image showcasing, which is a nice piece of vocabulary, the products made from recycled materials. And then again talking about imagery, the use of vibrant, lively, colourful, high quality imagery enhances or improves the overall visual appeal and effectively draws attention to the product. If you have more time, again, you could talk in detail about the imagery and what is shown in the imagery. And then we go on to the third paragraph. And the third paragraph, then, we just dealt with visual aspects, and now we're going to deal with words. And when we talk about words in a print advertisement, what we can talk about is copy. And you could also mention the person who writes the copy in an advertisement is a copywriter, and you can talk about the body copy of the advertisement. First of all, I've talked about the headline. So the headline, Proud to Save Our Earth, encapsulates the core message of the advertisement succinctly. So here we've got 3 pieces of vocabulary. Encapsulate means it's precise and it's to the point and it's short and it's brief. The core message is the central message, and succinctly is, again, it's clear and to the point. And then we've got here the body copy outlines the product's features. So then you can go on what the copy will probably do. You can talk about the actual words that are used in the advertisement. And if you've identified certain words and you think they've got a certain effect, you can also talk about those. But one thing that you can do, that I've done here, is talk about the features and the benefits. And again, just to remind you, features are the physical properties that a product has, and benefits are the things that the product gives you. Answering the question, what's in it for me? So here I've talked about the features, which are emphasizing durability and recyclability, and the benefits, so what's in it for me or what's in it for us as human beings, such as having a positive environmental impact and saving the planet for future generations. And then some general words about the text, the words, the copy. The copy is persuasive, aiming to stress a sense of responsibility and pride in choosing eco-friendly alternatives. And then in the 4th paragraph, I've dealt with branding elements, and branding elements lead on to brand recognition. So brand recognition is the ability of consumers to identify the characteristics of the brand. So again, if I walk into the supermarkets and I'm looking at a whole range of washing powders, I want to look at this washing powder, I can immediately recognize the logo and other branding elements on the product. So here I've just talked about the logo. So branding elements are strategically placed. This is a generic term that you could use. The company's logo is shown in the bottom right corner. This logo is a dynamic leaf design reinforcing the eco-friendly message and then contributing to brand recognition. In the next paragraph, I've dealt with a model of advertising. There are many different models of advertising, but you can certainly talk about AIDA, I-A-D-A, which is attention, interest, desire, and action. So it's about raising attention, grabbing attention with the advertisement, generating interest, and then moving on to the desire to buy the product, and then the action, which could be going online, it could be visiting the dealership, or it could be going out and buying the product. Taking AIDA, describing very briefly what it is, and then showing how it applies to this advertisement. So AIDA is a classic advertising model that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. Considering this model, the advertisement successfully grabs attention with the design, maintains interest through a clear, powerful headline, creates desire by emphasizing the product's eco-friendly features and benefits, and by putting the apostrophe after the S in product, I show there's more than one product, and includes a call to action, and again you can show that you know what this is by putting CTA in brackets. And then the call to action is by encouraging consumers to join us and visit the company's website for more information. And then in the 6th paragraph, what I've done then is talk about the general effectiveness of the advertisement. Again, we can use some generic language here to describe this. So this advertisement effectively combines visual appeal, persuasive language, and branding, and then a phrase here is to convey a message, to put across a message, to convey a compelling message. Compelling means it's forceful, it's persuasive, it's impactful. Persuasive language and branding to convey a compelling message about choosing eco-friendly household products. And then another typical phrase, engage the audience. It successfully engages the audience and encourages them to consider the environmental impact of their purchasing decisions. And then I've put a final paragraph on the end of this description to talk about, and you can do this as well, is to talk about the placement of the advertisement. So where would you put the advertisement? And here, this is a print advertisement, so I've mentioned magazines. So the print advertisement would benefit from media placement in eco-conscious and lifestyle. Lifestyle is a word you could use. Publications, magazines that focus on sustainability, green living and environmental awareness would be ideal platforms. And then you can show and you can talk about other places where you can place this advertisement. So additionally, placing the ad on billboards or hoardings in locations where environmentally conscious consumers are likely to engage, such as local community events. And then you can talk about online or on social media groups dedicated to eco-friendly lifestyles could, and this is a key phrase, enhance the reach. Enhance is another word for improve. And reach is your potential audience. It's the number of customers who see your advertisement at least one time, and it's a word used in advertising and marketing. Enhance the reach. The goals would be to ensure that, and this is again a key phrase these days, that a consistent, the same message, whatever channels you're using, whether that's online, billboards, TV, print, the thing is to make sure that you're giving this consistent message across the channels. So the goals would be to ensure that a consistent message is given across channels and the advertisement is seen by people who tend to make environmentally conscious choices. As I said, this is a very typical question, and you can prepare for this question by going through this model. And what I've done for you is give you another model in the description below that you can go through and analyse, just as we've done with this model with the eco-friendly products. I'd like to thank you very much for listening to this video. Please have a look at my other videos to do with marketing. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.